Hey everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video review. Today we are looking at the Crosman Triple Threat CO2 Dual Ammo Revolver, and this is the tabletop review. And I'll put links in the description to buy this in both our Canada and US Replica Airgun stores over at replicairguns.ca for Canada and replicairguns.us for the US. Now, I haven't done an actual field test for this exact product, but I've done a bunch of tests on similar 357 revolvers like the Vigilante, I think perhaps the original Crosman 357. The performance is going to be very similar since the core unit or the base gun is the same. Now, it has had many names in the past and configurations going back a while. There was the 357W, the 3576, 357GW. I mean, there's a whole bunch of older variations out there, and this gun's been around for decades. I'll show you a couple. So this, I'm not sure exactly when this one was designed or distributed, but this is one of the earlier 357s with the actual 357 Colt 357 barrel. Now there was skinnier version barrels going back even further, but I wanted to show this one because it's got essentially almost an identical frame. Other than this is a little more flared to accommodate a slightly different grip style here. They didn't really have the combat grip so much back then, which you're going to find on here. So it's a little narrower. The metal's a bit narrower. It doesn't flare as much. And with the combat style, you are going to get a concealed tab there. But really, the actual gun, the frame is very similar. The way it works, the trigger, the sights, the safety, the crossbolt safety. This one does have a metal barrel, which I do like. So this gun weighs in a good 2.5 pounds at least. Now, going a bit forward here, this is another Crosman 357, but you'll see here we got the combat grips, very similar to this gun here, and we have more of a, Magnum styled or ported type barrel here that you're going to find, a nice large barrel, right? And I do like this barrel style, but it is, you're going to see here is a 6-inch barrel, right? And you're going to find a similar 6-inch barrel here on the triple thread. It's just slightly different, right? Not quite as large all the way across. Right, the tip of the barrel or the front part of the barrel is narrower, right? More symmetrical or cylindrical. Okay, so, but magazines, all of that stuff, trigger, hammers, right? Adjustable sights are going to be very similar. The way you crack it open, very similar. All right, let's get into some of the pros and the cons. This is a metal and plastic constructed gun. It uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges. You have the option of shooting .177 caliber lead pellets or 4.5 millimeter steel BBs. You're going to find 2 magazines. Inside the gun is going to be a 10-shot magazine for pellets. And then in the packaging, you're going to find a 6-shot magazine for BBs. It does come with the 3 barrels. You've got the 3-inch barrel, the 8-inch barrel, and the 6-inch barrel. The 6-inch barrel is pre-installed because it keeps the packaging a little smaller. But you do have that 8-inch barrel, which is nice if you want a little more velocity. Now the total length is going to vary a little bit depending on which barrel you're using. But give you an idea, you're looking at this configuration about 11.75 inches. With this configuration, you're looking at 13.5. And with this configuration, see here, right there, you're looking at, get that lined up, you're looking at about 8, almost 9. Okay, so the shortest configuration is 9 inches. The longest is almost 14. Now this does have a single and double action trigger, which is nice. So you've got the double action for action shooting and the single action for if you want to get a little more accurate, take your time, see what you can pick off downrange. And this gun has a claimed FPS of up to 465 FPS. I don't know if that's going to be pellets or BBs. Oftentimes they shoot pretty close because the pellets do seem to seal a little bit better, even though they're heavier. They typically can get close FPS to the BBs. Now with the longer barrel, that's going to be the choice for velocity. Shorter barrel, maybe for looks. I think that shorter barrel is going to look really cool, but the longer barrel will perform better. Now again, the weight's going to depend on this gun, which barrel you put on it. Now because the barrels are plastic, it is going to weigh about the same with each barrel, but I can't give you an exact weight because it does depend on the barrel you're using. The barrels are plastic, so it doesn't influence the weight. And in terms of metal, you're going to find metal in the frame, the trigger, the hammer, the inner barrels, and inner parts as well. Again, you have fully adjustable sights for windage and elevation on the back, along with a cross bolt safety. And again, that CO2 screw is really well hidden in the grips on these newer versions. And as I mentioned earlier, this gun replicates or is similar to a Colt Python 357 Magnum-styled revolver. Last but not least, this product is made in the USA. It's assembled in the USA with most of the units coming from the USA, but Crosman does outsource some parts. It does come in this horrid plastic packaging, which you're going to have to rip open or cut open and then throw out because you can't really reuse it again. You know, just a lot of the same stuff that I mentioned already. FPS, dual ammo, right? Got down here the sizes of the barrels. And there's a French manual in there, but it does come with a manual as well. One of these fold-out jobbies that you can never figure out how to put back together. I'm just going to really kind of quickly show you a few things. So you got your components, you got your, how do you load it? You've got, again, more loading, more basically adjusting of the sights, how to aim it. All the stuff you would normally expect, safety stuff, all that kind of stuff is in the manual. So when you get yours, you can fully read through it like I know you will. All right, so at this point, we're going to do a walk around basically with the barrel that's on it. I mean, essentially it's the same gun no matter what barrel you put on it, just slightly looks different. Again, this is the 6-inch barrel. It's a nice all-around barrel. It's not super long or, you know, it's going to have good velocity. I like the shorter one. Imagine that. That would look pretty cool, right? Let's go like that. Boom. That would look all right. But again, we'll look at it the way it is. All right, so you have this little indicator here telling you what barrel size it is, the Crosman branding. You have standard post sight there and notch in the back. There's no white sights there or anything, but you do have elevation and windage. Cross bolt safety, right? It's pretty firm. You can see the red there, letting you know that it's in fire mode. Okay, you have the magazine that's in it, which is the 10-shot magazine. And again, you have a double and single action trigger. You have this little button here to break the barrel open and get at the magazine. There's your 10-round magazine. You put it with the flat side forward because if you hard to do this on camera sometimes. Flat side forward because you need those little grooves in there for it to rotate because there's a little guy here, a little jobby actually right in there that pushes those. Okay, it's always best with these guns to push this down. Okay, you're just going to get a tighter fit for a longer period of time. That won't loosen up. Now this is all molded in, this sort of part of the cylinder is molded in. You've got this partial cylinder in the front, but this is a build and a design Crosman's been using again for decades. Metal hammer, metal trigger, metal internal barrel that is rifled, right? And then if you want to get inside here, you just pop off that grip. You can see this is thinner than the other gun to allow for this type of fully covered pistol grip. And then you have your CO2. You can pop this off on the other side as well, and then you can get in here and tighten it up. So both of the sides come off, and they kind of clamp on there as well. So they're nice. It's a nice design, and they are tight. Like when they're on there, they're on there. So I do like that about these grips, is they're really on there, and it does take a little bit to get them off, but it's not super hard either. All right, so you have some warning instructions. No recessed barrel. I don't believe it's recessed on any of these barrels. Okay, more Crosman branding. The grips are nice, fingered grips. Again, you got your F for the European market. Again, your crossbolt safety. All right. All right, so let's get into some of the pros and the cons, and then we'll wrap up this review of the Crosman Triple Threat. All right, first the pros. It's an inexpensive pellet revolver with a proven track record that goes back decades. It has good usage of metal parts where you need them the most. The metal trigger, hammer, frame, barrel, and CO2 tab screw. I didn't mention that earlier. I like that it has a single and double action trigger for action shooting and more focused shooting. Now, in previous tests of similar versions of this product, the accuracy is good. It's good power, reasonable amount of shots per CO2 based on similar versions again. And that fully adjustable rear sight means it doesn't matter really what it's shooting out the box, you can correct it if it's slightly off. Now, even though the outside of the barrels is plastic, the inner barrels are rifled steel barrels. And you have 3 barrels to choose from, the 3-inch, the 6-inch, and the 8-inch, depending on the look and how compact you want it to be and how powerful you want it to be. Again, that CO2 tab is nicely hidden and it uses all metal. And Crosman has included both a pellet magazine and a BB magazine. Alright, some cons. The outer barrels are plastic but very solid. I think metal would have been nice just to add a little bit more weight to the front of the gun for better balance. And those grips and possibly the trigger pull may be a little bit long or large for smaller handed people when shooting in double action, so keep that in mind. And it's not going to be your most realistic replica revolver out there, but it's probably more usable and it's probably going to shoot better. So you have to decide, do you want realism or do you want something that's going to be a good performer? Alright, again, I want to thank you for watching another Replica Airguns video. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And keep checking back for my field test shooting video. I'm going to test this gun out. I'm not sure if I'm going to use different barrel lengths, but I'm going to test it out either way. And again, if you're interested in buying it, check out replicairguns.ca for Canada and replicairguns.us for the US, where we have air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories. Alright, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.